Windows deflation sale.
Get 30% off every order. Call California Deluxe Windows at 800-956-8800. 800-956-8800. 800-956-8800.
Certain terms and conditions apply. CSLB number 7745518.
Natural disasters happen every year. Fires, hurricanes, tornadoes. And with that, your most important moments recorded on VHS, camcorder tapes, and 8mm could all be gone in an instant. Cherished moments like your wedding, baby's first steps, family trips to Yellowstone, lost. Enter Legacy Box. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box protects your irreplaceable memories from the threat of natural disaster by digitally preserving them onto thumb drive, DVD, or the cloud. So safe forever. Legacy Box is the safest and easiest way to preserve your past, which is why it's been trusted by over 1 million families. Send Legacy Box your home movies, photos, and film. Their team of trained professionals will do the rest right here in the U.S. For a limited time, Legacy Box is offering a radio-exclusive offer on digitizing all your media. Visit legacybox.com/value for an unbelievable deal on protecting your memories. That's legacybox.com/value.
KCBS traffic and weather time with the 6-day forecast coming up. We head over to your local Honda dealer's traffic center first to check in with Kim. We still have some slow spots, Melissa, but most of the crashes are sitting off to the side. This report brought to you by Cars for Kids. Highway 4 is one. It's an injury crash. There was a motorcycle involved as you head toward Pittsburgh. This is westbound 4, right before you get to Harbor or before Railroad Avenue. Still slow traffic out from Summersville. It's not stop and go, though. For that, you have to go farther along as you approach Bailey Road. That's a little bit of stop and go heading toward Bay Point, which eventually will loosen up by the time you hit Willow Pass. Also, westbound 80, it's getting better through Vallejo, although not without slow traffic. The earlier crash at Magazine Street really tied things up as no longer from Redwood Street down to Magazine. Then you're on your way over the Carquinez Bridge. You look fine. Starting to see a backup at the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge, and that is a little bit beyond Canal Boulevard out to the Toll Plaza. Bay Bridge, slow metering lights were backed up already to the MacArthur Interchange. Well, don't waste your time trying to sell your old car. Donate it to Cars for Kids. This is the easiest way to donate your car and get a tax deduction. Donate online at carsforkids.org. That's Cars with a K. Your next update, 6:58 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
World 6-day weather forecast. Here's KPIX's Jessica Birch.
Hey, good morning. Happy Friday Eve. We are getting closer and closer into that weekend forecast, and the forecast is looking nice for us this weekend. And really, in comparison to earlier this week where we were dealing with a heat advisory, poor air quality, things are actually starting to look really nice as we head into the next couple days. Daytime highs are going right back down to average, 67 this afternoon in San Francisco. We're still dealing with 90s up in those East Inland Hills, but no more triple digits for now or anytime soon. Extend into next work week, we're going to be seeing a lot more sunshine in the forecast. That marine layer is still staying dense this morning for us along the coast of the bay. We'll keep you updated on that here in the Weather Center, but for now, I'm meteorologist Jessica Birch with your KCBS KPX5 First Alert Forecast.
Traffic and weather together on the 8s on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
KCBS News Time, 6:52. Fernie Beyer and Vivian Bosu Skinner are at the KCBS editor's desk. Shortages of all types of products have been a problem ever since the pandemic began. KCBS's Kathy Whitman tells us paper goods are hard to come by. Is having a big impact. Nonprofit groups need paper, labels, and envelopes to alert donors of their fundraising needs. And a shortage of those supplies has forced many to rethink the way they communicate. Holly Papsador is Senior Vice President of Business Strategy for PMG, a company that helps philanthropic organizations get their messages out.
Direct marketing fundraising campaigns in a timely manner.
Some of those things include paper shortages, transportation issues, and staffing problems at production facilities. All can be attributed to various things like the pandemic, government policies, and an unanticipated strike at a label factory in Finland earlier this year.
So that caused a massive backlog in switching gears for nonprofits that have existing mailing.
Also says that many environmental groups are using recycled paper, and that's also been in short supply.
They've had to adapt to use paper stocks that don't have that content.
Kathy Whitman, KCBS.
broke into the Community Youth Center on Clement Street in San Francisco's Richmond district this week and made off with $50,000 in gift cards intended for youth volunteers. The Youth Center, with 7 offices around the city, serves young people from disadvantaged backgrounds. About $150 Amazon, Target, and Visa gift cards with computers and monitors. The group's executive director says the cards were to be given to outstanding volunteers to help pay for school supplies. She says the group will find a way to replace them, perhaps using money from the general fund.
There's good news coming out of the East Bay. A dog that was stolen in an armed carjacking in Emeryville has been found. Blue, a 2-year-old Yorkie, was inside the car when the suspect drove off. Police but the dog was gone. The victim, whose car was taken, was in town for her father's burial, and Blue had belonged to her dad. Police say the dog was found over the weekend near Lake Merritt in Oakland and reunited with its family. Emeryville police posted the news on social media and thanked everybody who played a role in getting Blue back to where he belongs.
Let's check the Money Watch. We may not have to wait as long for the next iPhone as we first thought. Here's Jason Brooks.
Eric, Apple will reportedly launch its new iPhone 14 lineup on September 7th. And if you're thinking that sounds like it's earlier than usual for the highly anticipated event, you're right. And that's the attention of a noted Apple analyst. TF International Securities analyst Ming-Chi Kuo tweeted Apple may debut the 14 earlier than previous models to minimize the risk of a possible recession on demand. Kuo says an earlier launch would help avoid some risk of that, and the risk of a global recession is still growing and unpredictable. Apple launched the iPhone 13 on September 14th last year. That was a month earlier than the usual October iPhone launches. Jobless claims edged lower. Employment claims dipped by 2,000 to 250,000, while the 4-week average also edged lower from the prior week. Long-term claims were essentially flat at more than 1.4 million. Stock market edging lower this morning, Dow dropping 88 points, NASDAQ down 29, S&P lower by 6. Cisco doing what it can for the Dow. Its shares are surging higher by 6% after stronger than expected earnings. On the Money Watch, Jason Brooks, KCBS.
San Francisco Opera is celebrating 100 years. In honor of this centennial, the Dolby family is offering $10 tickets in great seating locations to anyone within a Bay Area zip code who has not attended the opera in the past 3 years. San Francisco Opera's 100th anniversary season begins this September. Come and celebrate. Visit sfopera.com/opera for the Bay to claim your tickets.
I wanted COVID-19, yet it's so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and tested positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by
Everything for school at great prices. So this year you won't go back to school. You'll be ready to move forward and build that papier-mâché volcano.
I am not cleaning this up.
Yeah, I meant the kids. Staples will help them move forward. Right now, Crayola 24-count crayons and 4-ounce Elmer's glue are just 50 cents each, and 1-inch binders are only $1.99. Everything on your list at amazing prices. Staples, we're not going back. We're going forward to school. Day 27 in store, only limit 30.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different how? You sell high-commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee, structured so we do better
For your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
KCBS News Time. time 6:58. We're headed back to your local Honda Drive from Kim Wonderly. Hey, we had a flurry of activity early on, but things have settled down considerably. Westbound 80 recovering through Vallejo from Redwood Street as you make your way down toward Magazine, but not as bad. The crash is now freeway, so that's better news. East Shore Freeway only a little bit slow around Albany Hill heading toward Gilman. The Bay Bridge backup, though, is fairly substantial for this hour. We are slow to the MacArthur interchange. In fact, a little bit beyond that if your approach is 580. Once you're on the span, traffic's moving very well into the city. And we're also looking at heavy traffic trying to get into Pittsburgh. There had been a crash on westbound 4 near Harbor. Off to the side, but they're still waiting a flatbed tow truck for the motorcycle that was involved. So there's still something to look at, apparently, because traffic here is slow from Summersville. And you can follow all this activity on Twitter. We're at KCBS AM/FM Traffic. Your next update, 7:08 on the Traffic Leader, KCBS.
Clouds to start the morning, burning back to the coast, leaving sun for most of the Bay Area. Highs ranging from 60s at the ocean beaches to 70s and 80s Bayside to near 90 degrees inland, so a little cooler. Then 9 and AM 740 KCBS.
It's Thursday, August 18th, 2022. Coming up on KCBS.
I'm Mike DeWall. California moves to pre-position fire crews amid the continued threat of critical fire weather and dry lightning.
And this is Matt Bigler at Lake Merritt in Oakland. The brownish-red color of the lake is causing concern for people and their pets.
Good morning, I'm Melissa Colrock.
And I'm Eric Thomas.
CBS News covers the world next.
When you need to know, KCBS AM, KFRC FM, and HD1, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, and all these stations.
7 o'clock.
Releasing the Trump affidavit.
The judge is going to hear the back and forth over the pros and cons.
Trump CFO in court.
Expected to plead guilty in a tax fraud case.
CDC overhaul.
You learned some hard lessons over the last 3 years.
Good morning. I'm Steve Kathan with the CBS World News Roundup. It's a key day in court for two struggle over whether information in an affidavit linked to the search of his Florida estate should be released. CBS's Catherine Herridge.
The search warrant shows 3 federal laws are in play, including the alleged unauthorized taking, disclosure, or destruction of government records. Later today, the judge will consider if law enforcement documents that justify the FBI search should be made public. The justice releasing the affidavit could serve as a roadmap to the government's ongoing investigation by witnesses and harm other high-profile investigations.
And in New York, there's an expected guilty plea today from the former chief financial officer of the Trump Organization to fraud and tax evasion charges. CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kleeman.
Alan Weisberg intends to plead guilty, and surprisingly, he is going to cooperate, not directly against the former president, but against the Trump Organization, because what you're dealing with here is a plea of guilty to tax where he got perks, things like tuition, cars, rent, and that they were not accounted for properly. The president may still be in the clear as to this case.
A Trump endorsement has helped many Republicans during summer primary voting. Now he appears to be hoping an endorsement will hurt 2 Democrats in New York. Dan Goldman, who was an impeachment manager, and incumbent Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney, who's been returns. Political scientist Larry Sabato.
My guess is that Trump figures his endorsement for Carolyn Maloney and Dan Goldman will be the end of their candidacies. But they could also portray it for what it is, a satirical approach.
Admitting government health officials have not met expectations during the COVID-19 pandemic. The head of the Centers for Disease Control is orchestrating an overhaul designed to restore the public's trust.
We made some pretty public mistakes, and we need to own them.
Dr. Rochelle Walensky tells CBS News the CDC should have better explained its guidance and pushed out data fast.
Incentivize a commitment to communication at all levels, not just to our academic and scientific and public health partners, but to communicate to the American people.
Walensky's reorganization will have 2 scientific divisions reporting directly to her. Promotions now based heavily on published work will be retooled to focus more on improving health impacts. Stephen Portnoy, CBS News, Washington.
Infectious disease specialist Dr. Celine Gounder tells CBS Mornings change is needed.
One is having real-time access to data, so data dashboards that really give you a sense of what's happening, where you live in real time. The other one is keeping up with 21st century communications approaches, so that includes things like social media, all the way down to in-person town hall events.
There are new calls for Californians to conserve electricity, with a heat wave intensifying and wildfire danger running high because of lightning from thunderstorms. Big concern is a 5-hour stretch after 4 p.m. when people often return home from work and boost the AC and run appliances. Andrew Campbell of UC Berkeley's Institute says demand on the power grid has to be carefully watched.
It has to be balanced, like from second to second, over a very, very area for it to work. Supply and demand needs to always be matched.
There will be triple-digit temperatures in parts of California today and in some sections of the Pacific Northwest, too. Jim Cantore of our partners of the Weather Channel is tracking it.
This is going to go this heat right in through the weekend here. Unfortunately, not a big break. Yakima, Washington, Redding, Oregon, Boise, and Idaho all could set records over 100 degrees. Just absolutely baking heat here.
You're listening to the Thursday Morning World News Roundup from CBS. It's 4 minutes after the hour.
This hour's newscast is presented by Rocket Mortgage. When you need cash out of your home and a simple way to get it, Rocket can.
Did you know that on average, teachers spend over $750 a year out of their own pockets for classroom supplies? Whether learning from home or in the classroom, many students in the Bay Area lack the resources they need to succeed in school. Initiative, Stevens Creek Subaru is partnering with adoptaclassroom.org. Our goal is to provide students and schools in need the tools to help them learn and grow in the classroom. Stevens Creek Subaru and Subaru of America have a proud history of supporting education, helping Subaru to donate over 277,000 science books to schools in the past 4 years alone. This year, Stevens Creek Subaru wants to do even more, and we're asking for your help as well. Buy in person or online at StevensCreekSubaru.com and find out how you can adopt a classroom. Located on Stevens Creek Boulevard, just off of Winchester near Santana Road, or StevensCreekSubaru.com. Buckle up and drive safely.
A federal judge has awarded $650 million in damages to 2 Ohio counties that won a lawsuit against the pharmacy chains CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart for distributing opioids, creating what was called a public nuisance. It's not clear while that decision is appealed. Rulings in the Carolinas on abortion. Here's CBS's Jim Krasula.
South Carolina's law that bans abortion around 6 weeks has been blocked for the time being by the state Supreme Court. Lawmakers are considering new abortion restrictions. In neighboring North Carolina, abortions are no longer legal after 20 weeks of pregnancy following a federal judge's ruling prompted by the Supreme Court's overturning of Roe v. Wade.
Kansas is in the midst of a partial hand recount of the decisive statewide vote in favor of abortion rights, a move forced by 2 Republican activists. The margin was so large that the recount won't change the outcome. In Tennessee, a prison has led to a murder charge. Authorities say a 33-year-old woman used the kiss with her inmate boyfriend to smuggle a balloon pellet filled with methamphetamine. It later burst inside his body, and he died of an overdose. Texas, a school library has removed dozens of books and could ban them altogether. It began when and other parents complained about the book titled Gender Queer, a Memoir.
Some of the pictures that I saw were beyond disturbing. Just to think that our kids have access to that, I mean, it was pornography.
Now there's a list of 40 that will be reviewed, and among those on it, the Bible and an illustrated adaptation of Anne Frank's diary. There's a new record for one of the NBA's top stars. On with the steal, all the way LBJ. LeBron James is the player in league history, signing a 2-year with the Los Angeles Lakers worth $97.1 million. CBS Sports NBA writer Colin Ward Henninger.
LeBron could be turning 38 years old. He's got 2 deal, player options. Who knows how long this guy is going to play? I think we need to sit back and kind of appreciate how great this guy has been able to be for this long.
That player option could keep James with the team past his 40th birthday. Time on the roundup, 8 past the hour.